the preseason starting up. We got excitement in the air with all the fans. I was figuring what our boldest predictions were for this upcoming season of Blackhawks hockey. We're gonna do it this way. James is gonna say his number three, then I'll say we'll discuss what he's saying. We'll do my number three, and then we'll go on two and one. So, James, you want to kick us off? What's your number three boldest prediction for this season?
All right, so my number three boldest prediction is that Kyle Davidson finally gets pissed off enough at Lucas Reichel, and he either gets buried down in Rockford for the rest of his career, or he gets traded.
Okay. I have some thoughts with that because Kyle Davidson spoke today to the media, and and I mean, again, it's not like he's gonna come out and say, "I hate this guy. I don't ever want to see him in my face again." He's not like he's ever gonna say that. But on the other half, he did say, and I think this is the right thing to say. Um, he's going to give him every opportunity to play with the best players, every opportunity for him to succeed. But this almost sounds, tell me if I'm wrong, this almost sounds like what he said last year and the year he
No,
said.
it does sound like something he said last year. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. How many more chances is this guy gonna get? I mean, for a future episode, we're going to talk about maybe, some of those guys who got that change of scenery and
Mhm.
who have gone on to better things. He's not it here. In my opinion, he's been given every opportunity. They've been patient with his development. They've given him numerous chances to go down to Rockford. Let's see, was it last year or maybe it was the year before? He went down, played for Rockford in the playoffs, and I
Oh,
watched a guy
last year.
because yeah, I watched a bunch of that first round series, and I'm looking at a guy who doesn't want to be here, who really doesn't look like his mind's set on hockey right now, and I kind of take issue with that only from the standpoint of I play hockey myself. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? It's more
Right.
than just being a fan of the team. It's that mentality that I have when I'm on the ice with my team. Now, granted, it's beer league hockey. It's not, I'm not going to the NHL. That's not what I'm saying
Right.
here.
Right.
It's a mindset thing for me.
I get you. I think I'll only push back a little bit on that because he has been training with in Switzerland. He went to Czechia and he did a bunch of like Marian Hossa adjacent camps out there. And I mean, you could do as many camps as you want. You could do as many like training things. I think that at the end of the day, it's like you have to prove to everybody in in the fan base really that no, you want to be here. And sometimes it just doesn't work out, right? Sometimes
Right.
you are just good in the AHL, and that's fine. AHL is the second best league in the world, and that's totally okay, right? I
Hmm.
think like not that saying like it didn't seem like he's trying because I think he is trying. I just think last year was a difficult year for a lot of players, and I think that the effort level. I mean, a coach got fired. You brought in an intern. You have no players that have over like 60 points besides, I mean, Donato and Bedard, and it was like for a long time there, the only thing that was good about the team. I mean, it was their specialty teams, but like other than that, it was like if you're jumping over the boards on five, it's like nobody had success. So like,
Right.
I not that, and it's hard. I don't want to do the same thing that I do with the Bears. It's like just give them a break, but it's like,
Right.
it's like this is the prove it year, man. I mean, you're 22, 23 years old. You got to figure it out.
Well, and and that's the thing too. You said you don't want to be like the Bears. Is it possible we're being too harsh on the Blackhawks? Being that they have, and I'm not one of those people that wants to get nostalgic. 2015 was a lifetime ago.
Yeah.
But when you look at the other aspects of Chicago sports, and I'm not getting into that, I'm just saying in general, the Blackhawks have been the team that has had the most success
Right.
recently, that is.
Hmm.
If you can even say that. I mean, it's sad.
Yeah, I mean the Cubs won 2018 or 2016. So I guess technically Whatever, they just made the playoffs for the first time in 4 years, so good on them. I guess they have the most success.
Yeah,
Technically, I
right.
guess they have the most success. I don't know.
I mean, I'm
Who
talking about championship success in the
oh,
past
right.
15 years or so.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think we'll have to come back and like put a pin in this one just to be like, hey, where are the Blackhawks at? And if we are judging them too hard because it is a rebuild, it is like you're attempting to surface out of the ice and get yourself back into contention. And sometimes during the interim, you're gonna have players that you draft high that aren't gonna make because it is a draft lottery. So not like we
Hmm.
could spend literally all day on Lucas Reichel because I was a huge fan of him specifically because I was excited because I mean who wouldn't want to have this
Right.
like this big bodied player who seemed to have great two-way skill, who like has shown flashes in his junior slash like AHL career where it looks like he could be a point per game guy and just not have it in the NHL. And that is disappointing as a fan. But
Absolutely.
you know, um, we'll put a pin on that for right now. We'll move on to mine. We'll do mine really quick. I want to. Where do I want to start with here? Because I chose five. We're only gonna do three. Um, what will be the most fun? Okay, I'm gonna go with Lev Shanov. Will be top five in Calder voting. Now, a lot of people
Okay.
are huge on Rinzel. It's a big Rinzel year. Everybody is like, Rinzel's gonna be the best player ever. Let's the Rinzel hype train. And dude, I am right there with you. Who doesn't think a 6'5", almost 200-pound dude slinging the rock across the ice, making these crisp passes? Oh God, he looks so good. I mean, I know it's against lower tier people, and like you gotta take it with a grain of salt. But like, God, he just looks so good. He just looks so damn good. Not even mentioning the 9 games that he had at the end of last season, where it was like he was the top power play guy. He charged up the ice with the puck, was making great passes. It looked like we had a top tier defenseman out there for the first time in a long time. But the
Why are
now
you going to throw shade at Alex Vlasic like that?
I think that he's going to be great as if he could slide back into this Hjalmarsson type role and he could be that guy
Hmm.
because he has that ability. Um, I don't want to veer too much on though. We didn't even talk about Levshunov yet, but
Sorry.
but yeah, if Levshunov, okay, Vlasic definitely want him to slide more and to be the more defensive defenseman guy and use his body to be able to like corner guys off and really be great at the blue line because it seems he's still a tiny bit awkward with the puck. He is still a
Mm.
little bit, especially at the line. I'm not sure. Like I was really zooming in on him because I was like, why did we sign? Not that like there was questioning why did we sign him to this great contract, but it was like, man, he is a talent, and I think that there are still hole. I mean, there's holes in everybody's game unless you're like Kale McCarr and you're just scoring 30 and being a Norris Trophy winner. Like insane.
Well, if I
But
could skate like
for
that, I would too.
yeah, right. He doesn't even matter if where you play, you just get back in time and steal the puck. But for Vlasic, it's just like I feel like he's a little bit more comfortable being in that position where he's able to hand it off to somebody else. He can still get it out and he can still definitely make those long range passes. But I feel like if he's in the role that Hjalmarsson was, where he could hang a little bit back. He's not needed per se for offense. And if it goes back to him, he can still handle it. Not that he's gonna
Yeah.
like freak out and be like, oh, like fucking what's his name last year that we buried in the AHL, Brody. God, Brody
Oh
was so
God.
bad. Brody was so bad.
Why do you got to mention that name?
Oh God! Every time it's like the puck would hit his stick and a bomb would go off. Like, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened with that guy, but Vlasic is nowhere near that. But you get what I'm saying. Okay, now back to
Yeah.
why I think Levshunov will be top five in Calder voting. I think Levshunov has been It's interesting. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, why did we get him second overall? Why didn't we get Demidov?" Listen, I was on the Demidov train. I really wanted Bedard to have a top line center or a top line winger with him. I totally wanted that, and I get it, and I get it. Defensemen and everybody will tell you, everyone that's watched hockey understands hockey. Defensemen take longer to develop than forwards do, and they're not nearly, for the most part, as exciting to watch develop. They're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna notice them a lot easier because you're going to have players who are just made for offense coming down on somebody who is still developing their defense. Now, for Levshinov, I think was interesting because he had to grow into his body a little bit. I think he is somebody that really had to. I don't know if, like, how would you say when somebody just doesn't fit the play style of the league but looks better at a higher league? I don't really know what word that is, but he looked way, 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 way better in the NHL than he did in the AHL. And I don't know if it's just because the AHL is more grimy, gritty, where you're just dumping and chasing, and it's more like not wide open play where you're able to move in the neutral zone. But Levshinov looked way more comfortable playing in the NHL with the skill level that it is there, which is weird, right? Because AHL is lower and the NHL is higher. I don't know. I didn't really get it, but every time I saw him on the ice, it was like, does he make mistakes? Yeah, but that's just because he's a kid. And my point
Right.
being with why I think he will be top five is because I think he's going to get the slot with Vlasic. I think he's going to be the one with Vlasic, and he's going to be able to make those offensive mistakes. But because he's so fast and so quick, like we were mentioning with Kale McCarr, he's going to be able to get back. And guess who's going to be back there with him anyway? Big boy Vlasic, the pickle. He's going to be back there, like hanging out, and he's going to have a great partner. Not that and this isn't a fight between who's been, this is a great argument to have. Who's better, Rinzel or Levshinov? This is a great thing to have for us. But I just think Levshinov's going
Absolutely.
to be. I feel like Levshinov could take that position, and it could be vice versa, right? Like I think the easy thing to say is Rinzel's going to be top five in Calder. Like that's the easy thing for me to say that that's who it is because of the hype train. But like I want to say that I think Levshinov has worked on his game. Not that Rinzel hasn't. This isn't a comparison, but I think Levshinov has worked on his game to make it a point where and because he's already been better in the NHL, in my opinion, I feel like his development is gonna skyrocket with these young players. I think he's gonna have that ability to play on the top power play unit and be the guy that we thought he was gonna be going second overall. Your thoughts?
So, like you, I was big on the Demidov train. I wanted Demidov. I had seen some highlights. I'm like, hell yeah, let's go, let's do it. And then, he was under contract, in the KHL. And then you're
Yeah.
thinking, um, we may not have access, we being the Blackhawks organization, I don't mean I'm not a part of that, obviously. I say that term very loosely. Um,
I
but the
you're a
Blackhawks may
fan.
not.
I get it. I get it. You know what? In radio school, they always would shit on us for saying we're part of like. Listen, we're part of the fan base who watches them every single game. Who honestly, we might be
You
more
know,
committed than most of the team. So
we're not going
who
to get
knows?
fined for that by the FCC for me to say this, right?
No, no. Go ahead.
Okay. For, first of
Maybe,
all,
maybe.
I've
I
been
don't know. Who knows? Who knows now? Honestly, now
I
that you say that,
I
who knows?
no, I'm kidding. I'm only messing. The last time I checked, I went to my first Blackhawks game in '98. I tried to follow them as much as I could until they came back
Uh,
on TV. I've seen the good, bad, and fucking ugly of this team. So I feel like I kind of am a part of it that I, been through thick and thin,
you've earned it.
with this team. I've earned my stripes, okay,
Hmm.
to be able to say we.
I'm with you.
um,
Say we all you
you
want.
know, but when it comes to Demidov, like I think he's going to be a great player. Um, I do think the Blackhawks made the better decision at the time for what we knew. Let's go out, let's get a defenseman. Because I mean, realistically, when you looked at them last year, okay, 40-year-old Alec Martinez,
Done.
TJ Brody, you know,
Cooked.
there's been, speculation, over the past few years, is Connor Murphy going to be here or not?
Hmm. He's
That's,
over
that's
30.
right. So then you have guys like you have your young guys like Vlasic, um, Crebier is another one. Wyatt Kaiser, you know, why not bring in another young defenseman to try and kind of stop the bleeding that if you have these older guys going down due to injury, you have somebody that you can plug in there.
Yeah. I
So
think
I
I
do,
think that the
I,
Blackhawks
yeah.
didn't have that like they didn't have that cornerstone bell cow like top tier prospect at the defensive position. Like, and I think that that choice to choose a defenseman over a top forward was just because we didn't have that. And I think in terms of like rebuilds, it's like you want to have that. And I mean, it's a choice. It's a choice. Um, anyway, keep on.
Yeah, I mean, so does it hurt seeing a big guy who I felt was a very underrated defenseman within the organization, seeing Isaac Phillips get traded kind of crushed me a little bit. I can't lie.
Yeah.
I liked the way I liked his game. I liked the way that he carried himself on the ice. Never really seemed to, he wasn't the guy taking stupid penalties, in key moments of the game. Um, so I don't think you're far off when it comes to Leshmanov being top five in Calder voting. I'm actually very excited to see how his season goes this year.
Yeah, I mean that's the hope, right? I mean the hope is to have, let's just say Levshunov and Renzel are both like in the top five. I mean this is a loaded year for Calder. I mean there is I
Hmm.
mean Demidov's one of those players in the Calder race right now. And I mean there's not a lot of room for forward wise like on the team. Like I don't know if Nazar is able to be available for the Calder Trophy. He might be since he only played 56 games. I don't know. I don't know.
That
I have to
isn't
look
that's
that
a
up.
really good question.
I feel like nobody's talking about him being in the Calder race. So I don't know. Maybe that's the actual hot take, bold prediction. Anyway, what's your number two?
Okay, so you're gonna love this. This is super super bold. I
Okay.
think the top line this year to start out this season is going to be Bedard with Nazar and with Teravainen. And I think that when the season's over, they're going to be one of the top lines in the NHL.
Okay, that's bold. That is bold. That is bold. I mean, there's only a couple choices for the top line, but that you add again that they're going to be the top line in the NHL.
No, I said one of the top lines in the NHL. Don't go twisting my
He
words.
said the number one line in the NHL.
We
Correct.
forgetting that players like Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl don't
You-
exist.
Are you saying they're going to be better than Leon Draisaitl, Connor McDavid?
No,
What they
God,
what they
Jesus.
hate playing in Edmonton? What they want to play for
Oh.
Chicago? Uh, okay. You know what? I will mix this in with my second prediction, which was Donato will take his spot as Bedard's running mate and get 70 plus points. So I'll mix this in. We'll start with yours because you said yours. I think that your prediction for it to be the top line in the NHL, I think that's bold. I think I don't know. I mean, how much. It really depends on how much Bedard's off-season workouts, which if you've seen any of those videos with him and Celebrini,
Mhm.
boy, does he look like a man. He look like a man now. He's beefy dude. He walked into, I saw a couple pictures from their captain skate thing. It's like Bedard's standing next to a couple of the other players, and he's just like, I'm like, God, you are, what happened to my boy? My boy's a man now. His quads look insane. It's just, I mean, he really wanted to work on himself being like a top tier skater, and he was disappointed in
Mhm.
himself last season, which I think we all kind of were, if we're being honest. He didn't really perform. He got slower by all statistics, all metrics. He got actually slower. And the Blackhawks were one of the slowest teams in the NHL. So, I think for him to come out, I don't think it's crazy to think that he could be in that top 20 NHL statistics this year. I don't think that that's crazy. Um, I think I'll push back on the other two players though. Like we just don't know what Nazar. We just don't know. We just don't know. Could he end up being a 50-point great two-way guy who ends up being like Patrick Sharp? Maybe.
I mean, dude's fast and he's got a hell of a shot.
Yeah. Yeah. But we don't know. We don't know yet. We don't know for sure. I think with Teravainen, we have enough to know that his peak is maybe 60 points. I think
You
that
think so?
that's, yeah, yeah. I think that that's, and he's on the wrong side of 30. So, I just don't
Fair.
think that yeah, I just don't think he has that much. Now, to not that I'm like, my pick is better than your pick. It's just I want to say I feel like Donato and Bedard had a little bit of chemistry last season. Now Bedard's teammates were like it could have been me. I could have been out there on there. It didn't matter. I don't know why my thumbs up button just went up, but um it could have yeah, dude, that's exactly Zoom
I
was
was like,
like,
wait.
yes.
I was like, wait, are we getting thumbs up already on this video? That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
I as soon as I say I could have been Bedard's teammate, Zoom is like, yeah, you could have been. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so like, and my point being is how random as the thumbs up coming up was, is as random as his teammates were last season. Like it was 5 games with Teravainen, it was 3 games with Bertuzzi. It was like, hey, you remember Nazar and Bedard are on the same team?
Right.
They are not going to play together though. It's like, can we? Can we? Anyway, my point being is you signed Donato who wanted to be here, which is great. He could have traded him in the trade deadline. You didn't. He wanted to be here. He obviously shown that he could play the game, and it looks like every single season he has. If he stays for longer, he will provide you with supportive offense, and I think that that's what you need. It's easier to play with guys that you know what they're gonna do, right? Even if they're not like, even if Donato isn't the best player in the world, I think that having a guy who can give you consistency throughout a season where you know where he's going to be, he knows where you're going to be, because Bedard's going to be the F1, right? Like he's going to be the one who's going to be going in there. He's going to be the one driving the play. And you want guys that can move up the boards, provide that type of pressure, and get him the puck back. And I think that Donato has the skill to not only be an effective F2 for Donato or for Bernard, but like I also think depending on who you want to have there on like the right wing side, whether it's Nazar like zooming up the boards to go grab the puck, getting it back up, or even if you have Teravainen who has a sneaky deceptive shot, like you can have those guys. But I think having Donato be on Bedard's line, I think that makes the most sense. Like I think you want to have as much as it pains me, I think it's the same thing as like Taves and Kane. They're not Taves and
Hmm.
Kane, but
Right.
you want to have ideally because Kane could drive his own line, Taves could drive his own line. You want to have them be on two different lines, but hey, we're just
Well, it's
having
kind of
fun. Go ahead.
it's kind of like what Edmonton did with McDavid and Draisaitl, essentially.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You
Like you
know,
want to
it's
have they're on the same team. You can play them. It's not going to hurt you if you play them together. Like I don't know what the aversion was to that, having them play together, but yeah. So I think the bold prediction I will push back on you is that I don't think they're going to be the top line in the NHL.
I
A
said
top
one
line,
of the top lines.
a
Jesus.
top line,
You're putting
top
words in my mouth. Don't do that.
a top line in the NHL. Sorry,
I think
I don't
okay,
want.
so let me rephrase that a little bit so anybody listening doesn't get confused. One of the top five first lines in the NHL. I think it's pretty realistic.
We'll have to
It's more
see.
re it's more realistic than my next bold prediction.
Okay, you know what? Since I'm excited to hear what it is, what is it? What is your number one bold prediction for the season?
Spencer Knight for Vezina.
Oh my God, you're coming out swinging, dude. You're coming out absolute swinging. Okay, explain why.
All right, so I mean, we saw how good he was in that first game with the Blackhawks that he played last year. Um,
Yes.
he's come down to earth a little bit, in every start after that for the most part. I feel like now that he's had a full off season and he's going to have a full camp with the Blackhawks, he's going to know a little bit more about what to expect.
A new contract.
Um, yeah, and plus, he's going to have to live up to the hype of the new contract. I could see too. Soderblom's going to push him this year.
Yeah.
I think they're going to push each other to be the best versions of themselves. Because let's face it, Brossoit's never playing for the Blackhawks. I don't know who needs to hear that. It ain't
Yeah, he's not.
happening. Um,
He's not.
so I do think that with that being said, that Spencer Knight could be a Vesna finalist. Um, I think he's going to have a heck of a year. Do I necessarily think the Blackhawks are going to have a good year? I've learned that if you keep your expectations very low, you can never get hurt.
Uh, Mary Jane. Um, okay. I don't remember the last finalist of a Vesna that wasn't on a playoff team. So that would mean the Blackhawks are making the playoffs. Now, if the Blackhawks are making the playoffs, I'm good. I'm good with that. I'm totally happy with that. That's fantastic. Then yes, totally agree. Do I think they're gonna make the playoffs? That would be a bold prediction in itself. Um, I don't know. I don't know. But that's what's fun about making bold predictions because okay, everything would have to go. Okay, so first off, he would not have to get injured. No, that's the very basis. You don't get injured. Um, Secondly, I think that depending on how you use him, he would probably have to play to win the Vesna on a, let's just say they don't make the playoffs. To win a Vesna on a non-playoff team, he would probably need to play over 65 games, which he's never played over 30 in his career. So that would be tough there. So let's just say you don't, but Soderblom would also have to not push him at all. So he would be 15 games minimum. So if for them, but that would also mean Spencer Knight's record would be like 20 and like 40 if they didn't make the playoffs. So it's tough
But
to
they look
see
at
it.
more than that. They look at goals against. Come on now.
Yeah, no, they
And
do. They
save
do.
percentage. I
They
mean, if
do.
Connor
But
Hellebuck can choke in big moments every year and still have a shot to win the Vesna, why can't Spencer Knight?
well, it's a regular season award, right? It's not a playoff
Fair enough.
award. So, um, man, okay, yeah, I don't see a path. I don't see a path. He would need to have like a 950, and like they would have to only allow one goal, but then also like only score one goal to lose. Like that would be an insane. Like that's Levchinov would win the Calder. Spencer Knight would win the Vezina. Renzel is number two in voting. Like there's wow, that's a bold prediction. That's a bold one. Um I like that one though. I like that one. That one's a thought-provoking process. There's a lot of mental gymnastics I have to get through to see how he could possibly win it. But you know what? The path
It,
is
it's
there.
probably it's probably the biggest reach of 2025, and we're only in September.
Yeah, yeah, the path
But
is
that's what
there.
we're about.
For in terms of Chicago bold predictions, it's Bears winning the Super Bowl, Spencer Knight winning the Vezina, Cubs winning the World Series. We got three of the top bold predictions right here, right now on Talkin' Hockey Podcasts. You heard it right here. But before I get to my number one, if you guys are liking our list, our predictions, leave a like, comment, subscribe. But here's my number one bold prediction, and this isn't really bold, but this is more of a safe. This is a safe prediction. Safe, and I don't even know why I kept it for number one. I think Bedard will have over 80 points. I don't think that that's super bold though. That's not really a crazy like Spencer Knight's gonna win the Vezina Trophy bold. You
Bedard's going to get 80 points playing with Teravainen and Nazar.
dude, you went bold, man. You took the assignment, you ran with it.
I understood the assignment. That's what you
Yeah.
asked me to do.
Yeah, I apparently I didn't because all mine are very mine are very tame. Yeah, the number one for me is Bedard's gonna get over 80 points. I think he's gonna and everybody comes in the camp the best shape of their life, right? Every single player is like, I'm in the best shape. If you came in the camp saying I'm in the worst shape of my life, you're doing it wrong. So him saying that he physically looks different. Like he looks like a specimen. Like I could not say that before. Before he looked like a boy. Now he has become a man. He's become the Charizard. He's evolved. He went from Charmander to Charmeleon to Charizard. We're now here, year three. He's okay. There's a lot of factors into this. You know what? My bold prediction. Fuck it. 90 plus points. 90 plus points for Connor Bedard. I'm gonna raise the stakes, raising the flame, turning
Yes.
on the fire. Um, I think that he will get 90 points because it's a contract year. He wants to play for a I mean, I already think he's gonna get this contract before Thanksgiving anyway, hoping that he gets the same contract that like a Jack Hughes has, like a 9.5. I think that would be great. I think Jack Hughes is 9.5. Could be less. I don't remember how much it is. I know it's cheap though. I know it's cheap. Um,
9.5?
I think a 9.5 over 5 years.
That's a that's see now that's bold right there.
You think that's
Do you
expensive or not?
well I mean it's hard to say. I mean, can Bedard stay healthy the whole year?
Okay, yeah.
Because if you remember he was out almost half a season with a broken jaw.
Yeah, his first season,
Um
right?
so I mean if he comes out we see like a rejuvenated type Connor Bedard and please don't hate on me for this. But seeing him dance around the blue line in overtime with the puck and turning it over makes me want to punch him in the face.
Okay, I
Like it
get it.
just
I get it.
it drives me up a wall. But no, um, I was thinking more in the ballpark is seven for three.
Okay, my only pushback on this is because Kyle Davidson has now signed 6 years for 56 games of Nazar. He has signed 6 years for Vlasic, who had a little over 2 seasons of play. Bedard has he won the Calder, but he was also the number one pick. He's your franchise cornerstone. And you gotta look at the rising cap. The cap is gonna go up extremely. It's gonna rise extremely high within the next couple of years. And I think in
Hmm,
terms of
fair
like
enough.
how much cap percentage his deal will actually be, I think you're looking at it more in terms of how many RFA years you can steal off of him. Because if you sign him to a 3 year, then he only has one contract left versus say you sign him to a 6 year, he's at 26, then you still have him for an RFA year, and then you could sign him to the next deal that leads him to his 30s, right? So if you sign him to that 6 year deal at 9.5, that 9.5 is going to be the equivalent of like a 7.5 2 years ago. So like it depends on how you look at it. I don't look at it now in terms of like how much money it is because I think that if it's 9.5 and he ends up being like an 80 to say he's a Sebastian Aho esque type player where he's 80, but you don't think of him being as the top line. He's a top line center, and that's just who he is. It's like, but you're not thinking of him as the best player in the world. I think 9.5 is still good because I think Aho makes around 8.9, 9.3. But like, I think if he comes out here and he has 90 plus points, it's going to be a 10 plus $1 million contract. And it's probably going to be 7 years max. And then he could leave or stay at 27. But either way, I think that a 6 year contract, a 6 or 5 year contract is coming his way. It just depends on, I guess, depends on how he plays. I don't know how much you take in. Like, say, if you're in, because they've been in negotiations with him all summer long, basically. So it's not like you're gonna base his contract off of like 10 games and be like, you play 10 games very bad, Bedard. Now you get 2 million less. Like, if you went into negotiations like that, you're a fucking idiot. So, like, I assume that they won't. I assume that
I would hope not.
I assume Kyle from Chicago is good at doing these negotiations because he's been doing negotiations we don't know. We don't know what Nazar. We don't know yet, but that could be great, right? Um, with Vlasic, it looks to be one of the best contracts. He got invited to the Canadian camp, I think it was
Hmm.
over the summer. So it's like he's already in talks to being for an Olympic spot. So like, you know, I mean, same thing with Bedard, right? But um, I don't know if he has 90 points. This conversation has turned into a contract talk really, really quick. But if he has 90 plus points, which is my bold prediction, I think it's hard for Kyle to not be like, hey, we'll give you 10.5 right now. Stay for 7, though. Don't leave
Yeah.
after that. But if he signs for anything under 7 years, then it's gonna be, I would hope it's between that 8.5 and 9.5 range to just have like keep him till he's 25, have the extra RFA year, and then he could decide if he wants to. Like that's the choice then, right? But at least we have
Well, I
control over
mean,
him for 5 years.
yeah, and I mean the thing about that is too, which obviously I want to see Connor Bedard stay in Chicago for a very, very long time, if not his whole career. But
Right.
at what point do you, as Connor Bedard, say something's got to change here? You've done nothing to help build around me. You haven't really, you know, I, up to this point, he hasn't had anybody to play with.
Yeah.
So I wonder how much of that is frustrating to him. Now, obviously, you know, for the sake of Bedard, obviously you want him to have a good season. Um, kind of shut up some of the doubters and some of the haters. These are the same people who wanted to overhype him coming into the league before he played a game. They're going to do the same thing with Gavin McKenna. Um, it just really comes down to him needing to believe more in his game and himself
Yeah.
more than anything for him to have a good season.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I think that that's what he's done over the offseason. Ideally, again, everybody comes in the camp, the best shape of their life. It's the best shape of their life season. And everybody says,
Unless you're Jake
I'm
Dotchin.
unless you're Jake throwback to Jake Dodson. That's crazy. That he's a scout now? Crazy. Yeah, I actually looked him up like 2 years ago on the NHL games. Like, what is he doing? He's a scout now. So and and does he look it? So no, I'm just kidding. That's messed up. I'm just kidding. That's messed up. That's messed up. Jake Dodson does not deserve that at all. He does not deserve that. That is so mean. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. He's way more successful than I will ever be. He could beat me up at any time. So like it doesn't matter. So anyway, so I'm so sorry, Jake Dodson. Why did we throw strays at Jake Dodson? Oh my God.
Because
First
I
episode.
want people, yeah, I want people to know that we can throw it back and no one is safe.
Jesus Christ. Oh man. Poor Jake Dodson. He's gonna be sitting at home
It's like,
smoking a doogie. Just
who the hell is this fat bald bastard with the beard?
I'm gonna show him. I'm gonna show him. He's gonna
We
come
gotta
back in
have
the league.
he's just gonna like listen to our podcast and hear us talking trash, and then he's gonna Photoshop a picture of me over Chris Rock's face and a picture of him on Will Smith's. Just keep my name out your fucking mouth. It just
God.
smack the shit out of me. That's hilarious, though.
Anyway, Bedard's gonna get 90 points.
I like it. Let's make it
Anyways,
happen.
all right, guys. If you enjoyed our top three boldest predictions for the Blackhawks season, consider leaving us a like, subscribing down below, and if you really liked it, leave a comment what your three boldest predictions are.